You're such an asshole.
Oh, we got an easy one, boys and girls. So Artemis Worm, you guys know him. He's a regular, and he says, "Hey Claire, I've come bearing another Nietzsche video because I know how much you like covering the guy. The subject will be on his essay on the tarantulas. Here's the video," and then he said, "Here's the essay itself for reference." And to save time, I took the video, I downloaded it, converted to MP3, threw it on my phone, and listened to it as I went, and I got myself some lunch today, of which the lunch was botched, again, by the people preparing it, but yay, Gen Z. So I was listening to it, and it was not Norman Peterson. That's a character from Cheers. Norman Peterson. How you doing, Mr. Peterson? No one's gonna get that one. That's boomer age. It was Jordan Peterson reading Nietzsche talking about tarantulas. So now this is Cappy on Peterson on Nietzsche on tarantulas. And let's start off first. Nietzsche could not be more wrong about tarantulas. Tarantulas are actually not that poisonous. In his essay, he speaks he uses tarantulas disparagingly to describe what I'm going to call equality pimps and victimhood whores. But neither here nor there. What I couldn't, because I used to study spiders when I was a young boy. I thought spiders were really cool, and I found out that tarantulas, they're not poisonous unless you're allergic to them. They're actually quite docile creatures. You can use them as pets if you'd like. Don't scare them; they'll bite you. I know it'll hurt, but they're not. It's no worse than a regular old bite. Be more concerned about brown recluses or black widow spiders. But instead of listening to it, I'm like, that's not true about tarantulas. Tarantulas are actually good. They don't have webs. They're kind of trapdoor type of spider. They kind of hide and jump on their prey. They don't have webs, and I wasn't listening. I was hearing Jimmy, but I wasn't listening to Jimmy. Anyway, so the short version of Nietzsche's essay on tarantulas is using the tarantulas to describe what I would call the equality pimps. And if we were to bring it into Cappy world, well, okay, let's describe Nietzsche's world first. Then we'll go and we'll update it with Cappy's world. Nietzsche was known most for the Ubermensch, and kind of like akin to author Schopenhauer had a great disdain, maybe even hatred for normie conforming inferiors, what we call them today. Just the herd. And Nietzsche was all about the Ubermensch, like a man or a woman who, through independent critical thinking and the courage to believe truth and set aside emotion and desires and human frailty, you would become the Ubermensch. Now, I have not read that much Nietzsche. People keep throwing at me. I don't like Nietzsche. I don't like Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I thought the guy was a weirdo with what little I've known about him. So already I'm turned off. Schopenhauer, however, of which Nietzsche was a student of, and who he ended up hating, Schopenhauer died long ago. But Schopenhauer, man, I like that guy. He had an essay on noise and how noise is annoying and people are idiots. And I was like, yeah, that's my guy, author. Let's go Schopenhauer. But Nietzsche is probably more popular. He has the Ubermensch and anything like that. So in Nietzsche's world, there are, I don't know what he called the normie conformies and inferiors, but the herd, your masses, your idiots. Then you had your people who just basically had critical thinking and courage to accept truth and to capitalize on their life. He called them the Ubermensch. Now in Cappy world, we have the same thing. We call them the normies, conformies, and inferiors. And then we also have I guess the closest thing would be the 1099 superior race, but that's in terms of employment. I would say the superior people are those who produce, those who are not a normie conforming inferior, those who realize they're finite, they're going to die, they want to capitalize, they want to live. And normally, traditionally, connotations of inferior, superior people would immediately go to Nazism, like it has something to do with race or the Russians or the Jews or anything like that. Hitler really didn't. Everybody else was inferior except the Germans, according to that guy. I'm not really talking that. I am talking what do people do with their life? You could have someone who's pretty stupid, but if that person is conscious and aware and is working hard, living his or her life or just being honest, that would be a superior person. All right. Whereas the inferior, the normies, conformies, and I would say the cardinal sin is the conformance. That's what really, yesterday I was at a bar getting some food, and here's the America conservative South Dakotan, gun to American love, watching the sports ball. And if you didn't know, South Dakota doesn't have a professional football team. I think they're cheering for Kansas City. And these guys are actually getting pissed that Kansas City didn't win. Or whatever the team was, I wasn't paying that much attention. It's like conformist, inferior. I don't want to talk to you. You're going to go back to your trailer park. You're going to like try to get drunk enough to have sex with your bloated fat wife. That's assuming you're still married. Like, no. You have proven, and not that I'm a big believer in God, but you have spat back and thrown back in the face of nature or God or whatever entity is out there that gave you this one and precious life, this consciousness, this gift of sentience, and you're spitting it right back in their face, being like one of the unmentionable tens of billions of other humans who weren't necessarily historic. I'm not saying you got to be popular or notorious or famous, but you just squandered your life away. You just squandered it away. And so that's the two realms, as I believe there are the superiors, we could call them Ubermensch, people who capitalize and live their life. And then there are the inferiors, so the conformists, I think would be more descriptive, where they just do what they're told, and they truly are NPCs. And I would even go even darker or more misanthropic and say the independent-minded people have every right to take advantage and live off of the cattle. Absolutely. Especially when that cattle, if you don't conform, then you're guilty of societal sin. So that's been a repeating theme this past week. However, there's a third group, and these people are part of the superiors or the Ubermensch, but they're evil. I'd say the one thing that separates the Ubermensch from these evil Ubermensch would be that the Ubermensch don't want to hurt other people. They want to be left alone. All right. The evil Ubermensch, they're not even satisfied or happy taking advantage of the cattle. Like, hey, you need to buy Nike shoes. Here's a zany guy from White Man's Bay. It's called Whitefish Bay in New York. I'm talking about Colin Kaepernick. Look, he down with the calls, yo, even though he was like a spoiled, pampered little brat. And here, poor, impoverished black kid, spend $200 on these shoes because it's got a checker. And the guy with the funny hair said to buy it. Target, capitalizing off of fat women. Look, plus size model, beauty it anyway. Just give us that money. But I'd say even more evil than that are, I don't know any other way to describe them, but sociopaths. People who are jealous, and there was a little bit of this in the tarantulas. These are the tarantulas. We could call them tarantulas. I'm going to call them what did I had in the note down here before? The something whores. The equality pimps. And what these guys are usually going for is political power. They're not happy simply enriching themselves off of the sheep. They're not happy just maybe doing a good thing and leaving people alone and advancing independent-minded freedom, or maybe selling people good burgers. You know what? No, they have to be in control of people and the rest of society. And the quickest way to do that in a democracy, which I don't know my German history too well, so don't quote me. Heck, in Nietzsche's time, maybe it was still Prussia. I don't know. And it's what we see today, and that is equality pimps, where they're telling inferior people that it is the superior people that's the cause of the problem. When the superior people, Ubermensch, whatever you want to call it, the producers, the capitalizers of their lives, for the most part, just want to be left alone. Let me do my thing. And I'm sick of the normie conforming fear. If anything, there's a wish to retreat. Certainly Schopenhauer, he wanted nothing to do with the commoner. Doesn't mean you wish ill will upon the commoner. You're not oppressing the commoner. You just want nothing to do with them. Like the guys playing sports ball. I have a disdain for the sports ball people. I don't spend my time oppressing them. All right. But if you're lazy, and this is where Cappy's universal theory of laziness, unifying theory of laziness will come in one of these days. If you're an equality pimp, okay, fine. You got the intelligence to be the Ubermensch or whatever, but you're going to pit, especially in a democracy, the normie conformies and inferiors against the Ubermensch. and you're going to tell the normie conformities and fears, because there's a lot more of them than there are Ubermensch, they're the cause of your problem. And here you see a ton of boogeymen throughout history. In Nazi Germany, it was the Jews. I don't know who Mussolini blamed. More modernly, I remember my history, this is 90s history. It's Indonesia, one of those Southeast Asian countries where they blame ethnic Chinese who escaped communist China. They set up shop, they work hard. Curiously enough, same thing in Jamaica. The locals, there's a Asian population in Jamaica, and the Asians work hard and they're industrious. They do a little bit better. Who do they blame? Oh, it's racist. Here in the United States, it's white, it's males, sexism comes in. Any trait, and that's really what it is, because I'm kind of done talking about a specific trait, whether it's your sexual preference, your gender, how you were born, ethnicity, your religious belief, mental illnesses that you have made up or not. It has not, it's traits. And what the equality pimps do is they go to the one thing that makes people normies, conformies, and inferiors, and that is laziness, that is sloth, and that is a lack of will to go and capitalize on their life. And then they will take specific things that have nothing to do with their work ethic, traits, and say, oh, you're this trait? Those people that don't have the traits, the Juden, are oppressing you. And that's why Gustav is Scandinavian. What's German name? Heinrich, you know how you sit on your ass and you drink beer and eat sauerkraut all day? You don't work over at the toy factory with Sergeant Schultz? That's an inside joke. No one's going to get that one. Yeah, the reason you're poor isn't because you're a fat sausage chewing wino. Another great quote. No, it's these guys over here that worship Yahweh. And then the normie, conforming, inferior, because they're lazy, and above all, there's ego and pride. We're getting very deep. They want to have value in their life, but they don't want to work for it. Here's the excuse. It's those people. And the otherwise innocent Ubermensch are like, dude, I want nothing to do with you. I wish you the best. I told you the truth. Thus spoke Zarathustra, came down, everyone mocked and ridiculed him. No, it's not. That's not me. And so I don't read Nietzsche. I'm not going to read Nietzsche. This essay he wrote is basically about these equality pimps, these equality whores, that people, you born equal, should be treated equally on the law, but they want equal outcomes. And it's now no shock the modern day equivalent be your politicians who are going to the masses of which are horrendously guilty of the 7 deadly sins, but namely sloth, gluttony, laziness is sloth, and saying, since you have a vote, those people, it's not your fault. Here's forgiveness. Here's purpose and value. You're fine. It's those people. It's their fault. And I am your savior. I am your salvation. I will go and get usually the money from those people. And unfortunately, as we have today with a democracy, people are going to vote it in. They're going to attack the Ubermensch. They're going to punish the Ubermensch. And not just Ubermensch, they're going to attack hard work, industriousness, innovation, creativity. I would also say maybe intelligence. But I would say they'd be envious of your intellect or independent mindedness or philosophy. But I don't think the herd is cognizant of that. Like they really are unaware of like an enjoy the decline type of mentality or I told you so mentality. Their level is, oh, I need stuff. Ooh, I'm going to get myself a flat panel TV on Black Friday or Black Tuesday, whatever the shopping day is after Thanksgiving. That's their level. They're not reading Schopenhauer and Nietzsche. But they do know that rat bastard Jim's got more than me. Well, could it be that rat bastard Jim worked harder than you as an engineer? You know, like Dre, Dre's a computer science major. He went into the Marines. Dre, let me ask all the black male audience, remember the black females too. Any of you become successful? Like you got out of the ghetto? You're the first to go to college. You majored in something. You went to the military. You start having some savings. Then you go back home. Anyone has the words, you think you're better than us, ever come out? Now, that's not exclusively, that's not an exclusive to the black community. That happens in the trailer park Wisconsin. But anytime that it's the stories of especially then you're called an Uncle Tom. Oh, that's insult. Why? Because you worked hard? Because you didn't sit there and mope and mire and self-pity? That's it. And so envy, isn't envy one of the deadly sins? Isn't envy or greed maybe? I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I didn't watch the movie 7. The larger point is that's the tarantulas are your Jesse Jacksons, your Democrat Party, whatever the equivalent is would be in Indonesia. The Nazis blaming the Jews. I'm sure if we go to every culture and country across the world, there's got to be a scapegoat of some kind that either currently today or somewhere in the past, oh, it's those rat bastards over there that's causing it. And they're truly evil people. Instead of telling the normies, conformies, and the herd, hey, why don't you get off your ass? And I'm part of this political party that will help you do that. Or maybe you just don't do that and you let the normies, conformies be. No, it's not even to make money off of it. Because Target, for all of its, if you think about truly insulting advertising, they sell a good product at a fair price to the people. Their hook is like, oh, you're this trait? We love your people with your traits. And traits. Martin Luther King, fuck that guy. We don't care about the content of your character. We only care about your traits, even if they're bad for you. Here's a fat mannequin. Buy our shit. And, the industrial strength, iron rebar reinforced bra for the 400-pound woman is probably good and will protect you in a car crash as well. No, they got to go and pit other people. Why? Because they want power and control over both the relatively leave us alone Ubermensch, the 1099ers, and they want power over the cattle. And it's just so sad where it's like, couldn't you have used your intelligence and creativity to do something else? I mean, couldn't you be, what's the guy's name? Could you just sell snake oil stuff like the Dickens guy in Red Dead Redemption? Couldn't you have just done something? Couldn't you just sell overweight clothes to overweight women? Couldn't you sell, worthless college degrees to young people? Why do you have to sell resentment, envy, and greed? Just so you get elected? So what? You can eat sushi and not have to. I've never understood power. I've never understood, like Hillary Clinton, like when she ran. Biden's the same thing. Don't you guys want to spend time with your grandchildren or maybe even great-grandchildren? Like, I got news for you. If I'm, however old Biden is, 72, 73, I'm not running for office. I'm not working a job. I'm going to spend time with my nieces and or probably grandnieces and nephews by that time. Because I just don't have this hate boner for society. I have a lot of indifference, a lot of callousness. And if I'm called some kind of name by the herd, okay, herd, butcher time. Get that knife, get that butcher knife sharpened up. Let's go. But I just kind of like, I don't see the point in wanting to run for public office and be in control of people to the point I would almost cause civil, and in the past have caused civil wars. So there you go. All right. So that's my opinion. So let me get to what's his name? Nietzsche likens these people unfairly to tarantulas, who are technically your fuzzy friend in the spider world. And he just talks about how these people burrow in their holes and they're setting traps and they pit one and that people will arise and they won't take it. And it's like, but the herd doesn't see it as a tarantula. If we were to assume tarantulas are as bad as Nietzsche wrongly assumes, tarantulas are furry little friends. But assuming they were bad, vipers would have been a better idea. Yeah, but the herd is the herd. The reason the herd is because they can't identify. They lack the intellectual courage, the critical thinking, or just the plain intelligence to realize they're being lied to. I mean, and a lot of it has nothing to do with intelligence, because if intelligence was the case, you'd have a lot of people saying, I'm not going to college. That's worthless. Because a lot of intelligent people go to college for worthless things, but they're brainwashed on the what's it called? On the college experience. I mean, if intelligence were to vaccinate you against that, you wouldn't have people supporting socialism. You'd be smart enough to sit down. Wait a minute, this is going to work. Matter of fact, we're going to run out of food. But most people, they don't see the tarantula for the tarantula. They see it as their friend. They see it as their savior. You know, and I don't know, but may I ask, how many people exactly did Jesse Jackson get out of poverty? Did he really help out the black community, or did he just bitch and whine? He's rich. He made money. Oh, well. All right. Super chats real quickly. Liz Scochel, $5. I have nothing of relevance to say. I just want to give you $5 now. Elucidate for mama. I will be your whore. I'll be anyone's whore for an adequate amount of money, as long as the Beckloff keeps wanting me to get something like cooking with cheese, Mrs. Linda's recipe with cheese. I'm like, no, I smell fuckery. Mr. Beckloff. So, yes, thank you, Liz. I will dance. I'll do my little monkey dance. Schultz Toys, owned by Sergeant Schultz before the war. There we go. Confident man. All right. Klink finds Schultz will hire himself since owned. Yeah, it's like it's the greatest TV show of all times. Hogan's Heroes, just the best TV show. Klink is just a snake. Schultz is this affable, lovable guy. Of course, the allies of the Americans are all smarter. The Germans are so stupid. It's comical. You guys got to watch Hogan's Heroes. It's the best. Like, Carter's the dumbest allied guy, but he's the explosives expert. And even he's just this yokel from Iowa. Scott McInthune, $5. I have a competition in me. I want no one else to succeed. Daniel Plainview movie, There Will Be Blood. Yeah, I want no one else to succeed. Why would you not want people to succeed? It does not cost you anything. The hilarity that ensued when the low IQ idiots came out and said, Rich Cooper said that his book's outselling yours. I'm like, yeah. You know why? Because it is. And he's making fun of me because, not to say we're friends, but maybe he's just giving the captain a little bit of ribbing. And if you didn't pay attention, he's also promoting my book as well. So yeah, competition is good. You can wish your competition the best and still come out ahead. Everyone can benefit in that case. But to prevent other people's success, you're evil. Pure evil. That's it. All right. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.